Good afternoon, how are you doing? First, thank you, Omega Forbes. I'm sure you can hear me, for the awesome opportunity to just share my testimony with you guys. I think it's perfect timing, actually. His epic release talking about Built to Win. The latter part of January, I released basically my testimony in the book. And the book is entitled Pressure, Pain, Promise, A Journey from Darkness to Destiny. And a brief summary of the book before I read you a couple of excerpts, if that's okay. I was actually adopted as a young child, right? About 2 weeks old. And growing up, I felt as if I was abandoned. You know, I felt as if I was thrown away. And as a result of that, I began to deal with issues secretly. You know, I didn't know how to express it. I didn't have anybody to really talk about because I wasn't sure what I was going through until later on in life. But there came a point in time when I got into church, you know, got under great teaching, and my pastor started preaching about chosen, right? And he was talking about if you were chosen, that means no matter what you've been through, no matter who you came from, whether your parents were alcoholics, drug addicts, out in the streets, whatever, that God actually chose you in spite of where you came from. But growing up, I didn't understand that, so I became a teenage mother at 15. You know, my father that adopted me passed away when I was 8, so I found myself searching for love in all the wrong places, right? Anybody else ever did that, or am I the only one? Okay, all right, so make me feel bad. All right, so I became a teenage parent at 15. I began to deal with issues of anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, and I had nobody to talk to. But once I understood that I was chosen, my whole life began to change. And that's the awesome part about testimony. I've always heard, you get a testimony from the test, right? But it's never really about you. So when I first released the book, I was like, God, all my business is in the street. My mother didn't know what was going on. My family didn't know what was going on. I had a couple of friends, a girlfriend who's here tonight who I had shared it with, but nobody else knew. My pastor didn't know. But he told me that you have to get connected to heal other people, right? Because it's not about me. I wasn't the only person who dealt with suicide. I wasn't the only person who was looking like they had it all together, but on the inside I was broken. You know, I would dress myself up. I would drive a car that I couldn't even afford to pay for. There was a point in time where I was living on my mother's couch for about 18 months. You know, there was a period where I was pretty much living from house to house, friends, because I didn't want, you know, I wanted my own privacy, right? So I had to just get away sometimes. If I had enough money, I would get a hotel just to have a sense of normalcy, but nobody knew. So I'm thankful to God for the opportunity to share this story with you guys this evening and let you know that we are all built to win. Because you see, I fell, but I didn't break. And that's what you have to do. You have to know that you're built to win, that whatever you're going through is for a purpose. You have to go through the pain. You have to go through the pressure, but it's all according to God's plan to get you to the promise. So if it's okay, I'll read just a couple of excerpts and show you how I believe I'm built to win, all right? Amen? Amen. All right. If I can put this on the line. No, short, somewhere. All right, awesome. So this is actually the introduction. It didn't seem fair. What was wrong with her? Her big brown eyes full of innocence, all fingers and toes accounted for. But somehow, she still wasn't good enough. Not good enough to keep anyway. She was given away. She was abandoned, unwanted. Not the bundle of joy that many hope and can only pray for. No, she was different. A byproduct of fornication, the evidence of a love affair that didn't last, a reflection of another that she would not come to know as her mother, although from her womb she was birthed. Being adopted just days after being in this world, she began to grow and became well acquainted with the pressures of finding validation, acceptance, love, and the answers to questions she had in her mind but could not formulate into words. Her journey began, a journey that would take her from the initial pressures of life, which caused much pain, yet led her to the promise. A journey that led from darkness to her destiny, This is my story. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Jeremiah 29:11. So once upon a time. And remember at the beginning I was telling you that I was going through issues that I didn't know how to express? You know, just by show of hands, anyone ever thought about suicide, or anyone experienced anxiety or depression, or know someone who has? Show of hands. So imagine the people that we come in contact with daily who are struggling in silence and we don't know their struggle. Oftentimes people suffer silently from undiagnosed diseases, ashamed and afraid to get help, not truly knowing what they need or for what to specifically ask for. Subtle thoughts of suicide became my headline for a story that I was sick and tired of reading the lines for. The pain from the initial pressures of life began to enter without invitation and have a seat at the main table. An uninvited guest with no manners. Yielding his dark thoughts of ways to escape it all without saying goodbye. Suggesting ideas of suicide as my final curtain call, with congratulatory flowers thrown over my grave and tears from friends and family as the applause. She was drowning, but no one saw her struggle. You may look at me and think that I have it all together, but behind my smile there's a pile of pain that slides down my face in the form of broken tears whenever you're not around. But when you ask me how I'm doing, I reply as if on perfect cue. I'm fine. When the truth of the matter is that I'd rather forget the day began, and know not to try it again tomorrow, but to say my final goodbye to the repeated disdain, disappointments to this very day that I did not want to see in the first place. And I'm not even sure that I want you to save me anyway. Yes, my grin is fixed just perfectly. I laugh with you during conversations and perhaps stay beyond my welcome because I know when I am alone, I have to deal with me. I must face the reflection of rejection and smile anyway, even if the grin hurts. When I am with me, I must acknowledge the fact that I do not have it all together, as everyone perceives and erroneously believes, and now I criticize me for not being better, for not being further along on this journey than I am. How did I get to this point? I was depressed without proper diagnosis. I cried just because, daily. I stayed in bed for hours and hours and days upon days, far beyond the sun's rising, crying because I was ready to give up and die. It would be easier, I thought. Many days I fantasized about gracing the water with my chest, taking my last breath. I envisioned how my car would take its last dance on a carefully constructed bridge and be dipped into the arms of its lover, the sea. Its mistress, me, because we were all intertwined in a forbidden state of mind. I even imagined driving my car dangerously, yet somehow gracefully in excess of any regulated speed limit while closing my eyes, as if to lean in for a kiss. Knowing he would not move before I touched, the impact of the two now becoming one, perhaps becoming many, depending on how fast we reached the crescendo together. Yet I passed the trees, heart heavily racing, as if I'm out of breath. I thought about it. A sudden swerve would be my hello. I frequently contemplated suicide. But there's something about somebody who's built to win, that no matter what you go through in life, that you can pick yourself back up, right? Because I heard someone say that if you fall down, if you can look up, then that means you can get up. So I'm glad that we're all here together today, that we know that we can be reinformed or, reminded, right? That we are built to win. So no matter what you're going through, whether you're keeping it a secret, talk to somebody, right? Talk to your pastor. Get into a church, because what I found is once I started seeking God and he started really chasing me, the more I spoke to him and sought him, the more he began to tell me who I was, and the more God began to validate me. And I no longer needed a man. And when I came into my knowing and realized that I was chosen and realized that I was built to win, then I walked into my purpose. Thank you.